This video contains spoilers. Why was Ganon so strong? No, seriously, why was Ganon so strong in Tears of the Kingdom? I know he's supposed to be the final boss, but if you take a closer look, you'll realize that something doesn't add up. Let me explain. Tears of the Kingdom's Ganon is by far one of, if not the strongest iteration of Ganon in the whole Zelda franchise, from shattering the Master Sword, a weapon specifically designed to slay those like him, and summoning an entire army of monsters from pretty much thin air. But what was his source of strength? The Sacred Stone. But that's exactly what leads me to question his strength. Hear me out. Throughout the story of Tears of the Kingdom, many people are bestowed with the power of the Sacred Stone, from the champions to Ganon himself. Through careful observation, it's safe to say that receiving a Sacred Stone gives the user a substantial boost in power and allows them to channel and even amplifies their existing abilities. Zelda is a prime example of this, with her after receiving her Sacred Stone showing much more control over her time powers and generally seeming more combat capable than before. Same goes for the champions, who go from needing Link's help to face their respective bosses to being able to handle them alone at the end of the story. But Ganon's boosted strength was way more than anyone else's, to the point where not even 7 Sacred Stone users working together could beat him. Why was his growth so high? Was it his dark magic? That doesn't make any sense. Sure, he was probably more proficient at using his powers before receiving his Sacred Stone than any other champion, but this still doesn't explain his strength. Even if we give him the benefit of the doubt, Ganon should only be equivalent to 3 or 4 Sacred Stone users at once, not 7. And darkness is his element, sure, but it's no different from Riju's lightning or Sidon's water, so why don't we see them filling the sky with lightning bolts and flooding half of Hyrule? Well, I've got some theories. The first being Ganon's biology. As most of us already know, a Gerudo male is extremely rare. In fact, only one Gerudo male is born every 100 years or so. This individual is born with an immense amount of power and will inevitably become chief of the Gerudo tribe, and thus Ganon, by nature, was already at a much higher level than most creatures in Hyrule and would naturally have a higher capacity for magic. I speculate that the Sacred Stone boosts an individual to their max capacity, and once you reach it, the stone no longer boosts you. The other champions were most likely almost at their max capacity prior to receiving their Sacred Stones, and thus this would explain why there was such a minor boost in strength, at least in comparison to Ganon, because there was nothing left for the Sacred Stone to boost. But Ganon, due to his genetics and his adeptness at magic, would naturally have a higher capacity for growth. He was nowhere near his full potential, and thus his power grew far beyond anyone else's. My second theory for why Ganon was so strong is the way he obtained his Sacred Stone. As we know, Ganon's stone was not given to him, but rather he stole it from Sonia. But where am I going with this? Well, if you take a closer look, you'll realize that Sonia's power was still inside the Sacred Stone. It wasn't just a plain white Sacred Stone like all the others. Ganon's power didn't erase her power, but rather added itself on top of it, enhancing it, increasing the size of the Sacred Stone. So what you see isn't just Ganon's power, it's Ganon times Sonia. This would explain why Ganon's growth was so great, and why he was able to do so much with his darkness, as it wasn't just his power. But you could also argue about this point, because if it was Ganon plus Sonia's powers put together, then wouldn't Ganon have Sonia's power? Wouldn't he be able to reverse time and stuff like that? Well, I feel like it's more of a spiritual thing. Like, he doesn't have full access to her abilities, but rather the energy that it provides, and uses that to fuel his own darkness. We can even see an example of this when Rauru, Sonia, and Zelda team up to face him originally. Overall, Ganon's seemingly infinite power is definitely one of the more mysterious parts of Tears of the Kingdom. There are no clear answers as to why his growth was as drastic as it was. You could argue many things like he's strong because he's Ganon, or an incarnation of Demise, but these were my attempts to explain it. I would love to see yours. But that's all I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share this video. Don't forget to leave your own comments and theories down below, because you could be responsible for the next video. That's all I have for today, and I'll see you all next time.